It's will George have his cat aboard today? Okay, will George have his cat aboard today? I'll explain. So will, that's W for the wind and the weather. Yeah, we've got some of that. So will George, that's G for your glider. So you're making sure you've checked your glider, you've done that daily inspection thing like we did earlier. So will George have, that's H for your helmet. Make sure your helmet's on, not going to fall over your eyes and it's done up. So will George have his, that's another H, that's your harness. So making sure you're attached to the glider, your mailons are done up, all your buttons are done up, it feels comfortable as well. Will George have his cat, that's C for controls. So just make sure the brake's running freely. It's going through a pulley on this, it's usually a pulley actually. Make sure your brakes are working okay. Okay, so will George have his cat aboard, and that's A for all clear. So we're just looking out for other traffic, okay? You say clear above and behind. And will George have his cat aboard today? I'll have to roll back slightly now. This depends how we launch the canopy. If the wind's say 5 miles an hour or less, you basically just run away from the canopy inflates, and then you run off the hill or the mountain or whatever, or you motor on. But if the wind's above 5 miles an hour, we actually turn round and face it and do a reverse launch.
Okay.
The reason being, if I tried to do a forward launch in this sort of wind and it was a big paraglider, as soon as it gets 90 degrees to the airflow, it's going to rip me onto my back. So we turn round and face it. If it's less, let's say it's above 5 miles an hour.